Hello everyone, welcome back to the new video. And in this video you can see we are going to discuss about the modification that will help the birds to fly. Okay, so students, we know birds, they are marvelously adapted for flight, okay, with specialized anatomical, physiological and behavioral modification. Okay, so these modification are basically in their anatomy, that is the internal structure, okay, physiology, okay, there is adjustment in the body and behavior. Okay, so these modification, they will help the birds to be the masters of the sky. So okay, so let's discuss them one by one. So the first feature that is helping them is, first of all, is the feather. Okay, so this is well known, student, that only birds, they will have the feather. Okay, so feather, basically they are the lightweight. Okay, they are very light and flexible. Okay, but although they are lightweight and flexible, they are also very strong. So they will help in making the bird, okay, for their flight. Okay, they will also provide the lift, thrust and steering during the flight while reducing their drag. Okay, so the next feature is the, there are two types of feather. Okay, before moving on to the next feature, we know there are two kinds of the feather. The first one is the wing feather. They will have the wing feather. So these wing feather, they are specifically, okay, the wing feather, they are specifically shaped to generate the lift and the propulsion. Okay, then there are also the tail feather. The tail feather, they will help the birds in steering and the balancing. Okay, so example you can understand in the eagle, the primary feathers in the eagle, they are long and broad for gliding at high altitude. Okay, so the second modification that is helping them, okay, to fly is the lightweight skeleton. Okay, so student, the birds, they will have very light body. Okay, and although their body weight is very less, they have the strong skeleton that will reduce their body weight. Okay, so they have two kinds of bones. The first one is the pneumatic bones and the second one is the fused bones. Okay, so students, these pneumatic bones, they are hollow. Okay, and they are filled with the air space and connect them to the respiratory system, making them light yet durable. Then there are fused bones. So fused bones, like there are some bones like the collar bones and the part of the spines that are fused for adding the rigidity during the flight. Okay, so these are fused bone are helping in the rigidity of the body structure. Okay, so these together, these bones, they are very lightweight because they have to, fly in the air, so the weight should be less only, otherwise it's very difficult for them, okay, to fly. The third adaptation or the third modification that will help in the birds to fly is the powerful flight muscle. So student, we know that the flight muscle should be very strong if the birds wants to fly in the air. Okay, then only it can fly. So the birds, they will have well developed flight muscle for the wing movement. Okay, so there are two types of flight muscle, that is the pectoralis major and this pectoralis major, it is responsible for the downward stroke of the wing. Okay, so for downward stroke, this muscle is being used by the birds. Okay, then there is a supracoracoides. Okay, and this muscle is responsible for the upward stroke. Okay, so these muscles, they will allow them to hover in midair, okay, by rapidly flapping their wings. The fourth modification is the streamlined body. Okay, so the body of the bird, student, it is streamlined. It will reduce the resistance. Okay, in order to reduce the resistance during the flight. Okay, so there will be the smooth contour of the feathers. Okay, that will also aid in the minimizing the drag. Okay, so for example, falcon, they will have very sleek bodies for the swift aerodynamic flight during their hunting. Okay, and the fifth modification is wings and modified forelimbs. Okay, so they will have the modified forelimbs. So in the bird, student, the wings, they are modified from forelimb. Okay, and they will provide the necessary surface area for the purpose of the flight. Okay, the shape and the size of the wings, student, they can vary depending on the types of flight. Okay, so I already told you they will have the long broad wings. Okay, and they will also have the short rounded wings. Okay, so the long broad wings, they are used for soaring. Okay, and the short rounded wing, okay, they are used for maneuvering, that is the maneuverability in the dense forest. Okay, the sixth modification that is helping the birds to fly is the efficient respiratory system. Okay, so they have very well developed respiratory system. So this will the developed respiratory system, okay, it will help or it will ensure a continuous supply of oxygen during the flight. Okay, so what they will have a air sacs. Okay, so these air sacs, they will act as a reservoir for the fresh air. Okay, and this will allow a unidirectional flow of air through the lungs. Okay, so the oxygen exchange occur even during the exhalation also, supporting the high energy demand of flight. Okay, so this is all about the sixth modification. The seventh modification is they also have the high metabolic rate. So birds, student, they will have very high metabolic rate. Okay, in order to meet the demand of their flight. Okay, their body will possess the system like digestion and respiration that are optimized for rapid energy production. Okay, so they will have very high metabolic rate. Then of course they will need a very good vision for the flight. Okay, so the next modification is the vision and the coordination. So birds, students, they will have very excellent vision. Okay, and this will help them to navigate and detect prey during the mid-flight. Okay, and they will have the large eyes and have the specialized brain region. Okay, now this specialized brain region, it will be required for the coordination to help maintain stability while they are flying. Okay, so if, for example, the hawks, they will have very sharp vision to spot their prey from the greater height, because you know the hawks are flying very high in the sky. Okay, but still they will have very good vision that can help them into identification of their food, like their prey, you can say. So the next modification we are going to talk about is the ninth one, that is the reduced body weight. So this we all know, there should be very less weight. Okay, then only it is easy for the bird to fly in the air. Okay, so the bird will eliminate unnecessary weight for flight. Okay, this is how it is done. So The birds, they will lack the teeth. Okay, so the teeth will also, give the weight to our body. Okay, so instead of the teeth, they will, what they will possess, they possess the beaks. Then they will have the reduced reproductive organs also. They are also adding weight to the body also. Okay, so they will lack it, or they will have it, not, they will not lack, they will have the reduced one. Okay, so these are reduced in terms of their size outside, okay, of the breeding season. For example, the swallows, they will have the small light bodies, enabling them to fly swiftly and efficiently. Okay, and the last but not the least is the behavioral adaptations. Okay, so they will display a tremendous adaptation in terms of their behavior also, that will make, or that will help them in their flying. Okay, so but exhibit what kind of behavior they will display, the behavior that will support their flight. Okay, such as flocking. Okay, and this flocking is required for reduced air resistance, and they will also have the migratory patterns. Okay, that take the advantage of favorable wind currents. Okay, so example, the geese can fly in a V-shaped formation to reduce the drag and conserve the energy. So you have often seen that the birds, they will, if they are flying, most of them will fly in this kind of pattern. Okay, so this will reduce the drag, okay, or the resistance, and it will save their energy also. So student, in the conclusion, these 10 structure and physiological modification, they will make the birds uniquely adapted for the flight. I hope you understand all the 10 points. Thank you for watching the video.